Hello, welcome to the data channel, and you are watching Microsoft Fabric concept. Uh, Hello, welcome to the data channel, and you are watching Microsoft Fabric concept in this playlist. And as part of this playlist, we are coming up with a new video, and this is about Microsoft Fabric, the design principles or the system design, how exactly the system of the Microsoft Fabric was designed. Because end of the day, Microsoft Fabric is a software, right? And this software has a design. Every software has a design principle on how that is built internally, right? And what was the strategy behind building that, right? So there are many aspects. So any software development has their own design principle based on the business strategies, right? And similarly, in this video, we will understand what was Microsoft Fabric design principle based on, and why did they use such principle, right? And need to consider. So when we are designing any software or any enterprise level like a software or a tool, so definitely you need to consider the competitors, return on investment, right? And customer traction, uh, and definitely, and if you take about Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, a kind of a cloud providers, so they don't want to be industry leaders, and they want to have the long-term investments, long-term customer retentions, and they will definitely understand the customer pulse and how the market moves, how the market dynamics is, and also they see the opportunities incrementally, and they want to incorporate in their softwares or applications or tools, so that they stay relevant in the market. And like big players like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and all these cloud providers, they definitely sometimes drive the like industry in terms of how the industry should look like, because they have that scalability, they have that customer base, so they sometimes they drive the industry also. See why they why they are so much powerful is, so they do a lot of like homework behind the scenes, right? So it's not just about building a software application, so they think about many design principle aspects of it, and system design principles. So that's what we are going to see in this video, how the Microsoft Fabric design principle looks like, and what are the benefits of it, and why they choose this particular kind of a design principle, so which is a MVP based. So MVP here is minimum viable product. So we will discuss about this in this video. And before proceeding, if you are new to this channel, we would recommend you to please subscribe and also press bell button for instant notifications. So let's get started. So as you can see, minimum viable product. First, let's learn about it. If you are new to this concept, right? So we would recommend you to please understand this before understanding the Microsoft Fabric design principle, because that's built on this, right? And so here, if you see, you have an idea and you need to build that idea, right? So the idea is plan on the page what exactly you want to build, and then exactly you start building it, right? Once you build, it is not over. Again, you need to analyze, right? And analyze in the sense, you need to analyze the customer pain points, you need to understand what the customer might need in the future, and you need to understand the competitors in the market. So all those things come into picture, and many other factors. Based on that, you will learn incrementally, right? So suppose this is a 2024, and your product is released, and 25 again you are so it's like incremental learning. So you need to keep on adding the feature and keep on improvising the features, and then by learning it again, you again whatever the learnings are there, again you need to build that. So it is a cycle. Actually, minimum viable product is a cycle, and it is not just a cycle, right? And the we'll understand quickly in the again with the next picture, right? So it's very interesting, and you'll be able to understand what is exactly the concept of minimum viable product, right? So the minimal viable product, MVP, is a version of product with just enough features to be usable by early customers, who can then provide feedback for future product development. So this is a definition, right? But if you want to really understand minimal viable product, right? So if you are if you are building an enterprise application, no organization want to invest a bulk money for the product that you are building unless they see some kind of a working model, right? So that is what we are calling here, right? So working model is from the day one, you need to start showing the value to the business, so that so from the day two onwards, again they will start pumping money to you, right? So that you can build the or improvise the product. Suppose you build a candle, right? So this is a minimal, so it's already doing the job. It is like this job is to give the source of light, right? And it is already giving the light. So then customer will say, okay, you are giving me light, so give me more improvised light, right? And they will invest more on you, and then you build the next set of product lamp, right? And then so you get more money, so then you actually build a you improvise and you finally build a product, right? So that is what we call it as a MVP, right? And let's see the next example, which is interesting to see and understand the MVP. See, so when you talk about MVP and you pitch into a customer, right, and you show them, you need to show them the working model. You cannot ask them the, like, if you want to build a car, right? Take for example, this is the final product that you want to build, right? And if you say it like, first year I'll build wheels, second year I'll build the chassis, third year I build the interiors, and so on. So they cannot give the money, because on the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, till fifth year, they are not seeing any product, right? So they don't have the confidence, or they don't have the working model to see and give the feedback so that you can improvise. That option is also not there, and ultimately their money is freezed in the investment that they are doing, right? So that's the reason you see here. This is definitely not a good way of building a product, and especially if you're talking about MVP product, right? So MVP model work in another way, where you can see, suppose you want to build a car, and on the first year you build this product, and second year you build improvise and build it another product, third product, and then fourth product, which is two wheelers, right? And finally you get a you, bu- you got get to build a car. So basically, if you see the evolution, right, so all this on the first year also customer is able to use it, right? For the some moment, so some it is a vehicle, it is a small vehicle, but still it is a vehicle which is working, compared to the first use case where you just have a wheels and it is not a working model, and the second also there is no working model. So this is how the MVP concept works in. And if you talk about the software industry, so most of the investments comes with a MVP based analysis, or MVP based design principles, so that like you get to get the investments from the customers incrementally, and also you build the products incrementally, and also you deliver the products incrementally. So so it's not about just delivering a product, it should be a working model. So that's pretty important here, right? So, and we don't know whether it is going to succeed or not, right? And cannot spend upfront money without knowing if at all it makes sense for the customer. So that's the main reason customer are not intended, or the customer are not usually happy to invest upfront. So that's the entire the gist of MVP, right? So now that we have understood enough of MVP, right? So if you talk now about Microsoft Fabric, definitely you'll be able to relate very easily, right? So let's see that. So this is already you guys are familiar. If you have seen in the previous videos, we are talking about this particular slide, or this particular architecture of Microsoft Fabric, right? Very often, and we have talked about this many times. So now Microsoft, if you talk about Microsoft Fabric design principle, as you can see, it is definitely on the MVP, minimal viable product. So that is how they start building this. Microsoft Fabric has spent millions of dollars. Also, if you want to build any complex any enterprise level complex system, so it should always be evolved by simple systems that works. That means, so you cannot from the day one you cannot plan to design a complex system, right? So your plan is to build on a day one a very simple system that works, and then you can build incrementally, or you can call it as in agile way, But if you come to the MVP or a design principle, like design principle, we call it as a MVP, right? So that's how they build from the scratch, from the simple system, and the complexity will grow over simplicity, or the complexity will grow incrementally on top of the simple products they build. And so that's how, if you take any big enterprise tools or applications, so that's how they follow, because that's how they build a customer base, that's how they build get the investments, that's how they get the customer confidence, that's how they learn from the customers, right? How to build those, how the products are built over the time, and what is the market needs, what is the market, what are the competitors doing in this space. So they learn incrementally, and they try to improvise this product, or they try to add more features to this existing the products. And now let's, if we talk about the MVP, how why we're calling this as MVP when it comes to the Microsoft Fabric, right? So if you closely observe the Microsoft Power BI, so the Power BI from the Microsoft was around 2011, which it came to market as a SaaS product again. So which is definitely, most of you might know, this is a reporting and reporting and data analytics tool. So most of the enterprise organizations started using it, and it became a huge success in the reporting domain. And so what it usually generally does is it connect to the multiple sources, right? Source systems, and it using some SQL DAX kind of queries will be able to um, relate the data which is there in different systems, and then they build the reports based on certain KPIs. So which was a huge success. So then they found, okay, the customer, what customer needs next, right? So the customer was wanting to bring the data from the different on-premise system to make it as a centralized location, so that they can perform a lot of analytics and get the data insights. So then they brought up with a concept of Azure Data Factory. So which is again, which is a ETL or ELT tool we can call, which connects to the different source systems, which has a lot of connectors to connect it, and then so which came around 2015, right? And so then they in next like now we are in 2024, in last say 8 to 9 years, they found it's very successful product, right? Which is widely adopted in industries. So also parallelly they were working on Synapse Analytics, which is again a concept of data warehouse, where they will use it for reporting kind of scenarios, right? And they were already building the storage solutions, like which to replace Hadoop HDFS. They built ADLS Gen 1, Gen 2. They have a blob storages, right? And they have multiple storage services like Cosmos DB and all. So they have the processing engines also, multiple processing engines like Azure Functions, Databricks. So they will keep on building and adding the products to their Azure subscriptions, right? And finally, when you fast forward to the 2020, 2023, like end of 2023, right? So they were able to combine all of these resources as a bundle, and make it as a unified data governance model, right? Which they call it as a Microsoft Fabric design principle. And you can now clearly go back and see the previously what we were seeing in the previous slide, right? So where it is like you can able to relate now, right? Slide that we have discussed, the MVP, it's exactly the same, right? So on the day one, Microsoft, so they built maybe the Power BI, and they built this component where it is a data factory, and then they built data warehouse, Synapse Analytics, right? So they built multiple storage components which replace on-premise Hadoop kind of storages with which is HDFS and ADLS and blob storage and all those things, right? And finally they knew all these are working, and they are started getting the money from the market or from the industries. So then they built a big package called a Microsoft Fabric. So this is all about the how the Microsoft yes, used the concept of MVP in their design principle, and they successfully built a Microsoft Fabric. But yeah, success, whether it will be success or not, so that we will see in coming 1 or 2 years. But you see like the organizations or the companies like Microsoft, they definitely have done a lot of market analysis, and other way they have a good sales team, so they can sell anything. So in that way, that way, if you see Microsoft Fabric, Microsoft will definitely make pitch this product into the market in such a way that it will be successful. But it might be too early to say. But considering a lot of the scenarios like Microsoft as an organization, like a strong organization in their space, so we can say it would be successful definitely, right? And so if you take about the competitors like Tableau, Click, Snowflake, and IBM, right? So they also try to build a Microsoft Fabric as a design, right? But I would say they are not really close to what Microsoft is building. So they are having, but if you take example of Snowflakes also there, right? So they are also trying to build a product something like this, but their database is proprietary and it is not one lake, which will have a lot of customer lock-in issues, right? And one lake is open source because of a delta parquet format, and that's advantage of again advantage of it. So Microsoft Fabric as a product, right? So definitely it is a leader in the market currently in their space, and hope like you are able to understand the concept of MVP and how it is used by Microsoft to apply to the design principle and successfully build a product like Microsoft Fabric, right? Hope this was useful, and thanks for watching.